Hey guys, Joshua Peterson here, Peterson Electric. This video is a follow-up from April 3rd of 2023. We did a trench 3 months ago for electrical out to a detached garage tough shed, and also daisy chained it to a smaller shed. The power that they wanted out here, this is for columns. I don't know if my SEO guy can link it. It's kind of hard with the landscaping. That's the only date I can give you is like the first week of April. But anyways, we ended up trenching out. I'll show you. It was about, I think 100 foot. I had to cut about 20 foot of concrete, 25 foot. Went about 2.5 feet deep, and we did a 1-inch PVC all the way out. Probably could have done 1.25 inches. It would have been a little easier pull. I might do that next time. But then landing that in smaller boxes is really tough. But with the PVC box and a panel, it probably would be fine. So I'll probably do 1.25 inches next time if my kids are watching this video as well. But yeah, the general requirement on a detached garage, if it's not part of the normal house, you don't even have to have power. You can get out of your car and lift the door. But if you are going to power it, then you do have to follow certain code procedures, such as a light outside of each door opening, a plug outside of each garage opening. You do have to be attentive now to the 2023 code. You have to have 7,200 watts for an electric car plug, which is very stupid, by the way, per Article 210, 220, and also 625. The reason why I say that's dumb is because we've been putting in pretty much 1,200 watts or a 50 amp circuit for electric car plugs since I started wiring for Tesla and Highlands Ranch 19 years ago. And I did a bunch of those, so I don't know why all of a sudden we are doing only 7,200 watts, like equivalent to a Leaf 10 years ago from Nissan. Doesn't make any sense to me. But here today you'll see that I did rough that in. This was a monolithic pour, but I still put in a UFR, had it rebarred up. I did it myself and bonded it. I did have to have 2 ground rods. I did put an inter-system bonding bridge bar as well, and I decided to do a bunch of 4-plex plugs for her because she's a really nice customer, and I feel so bad for her. She waited up to a year with Fort Collins. Normally Fort Collins building department is quicker than that. I know it was after COVID last May, but there was some delays, and I think it was really more the shed company making extra delays, because I looked at this thing 2 years ago, and finally a year ago she started getting going on it, and then of course the pricing went up, so I couldn't hold that price. That was too bad. But then all of a sudden we got it ready to do the work, and it was like months to find out we could get the trench in. As soon as we got the trench in 2 days and buried and inspected, we waited 3 months for them to get the building up, and it took them 2 days to put this thing up. I do feel like there's a mistake here. Just so you know, if you're going to heat a shed, you have to have it insulated. So I don't think these guys thought through, how are they going to insulate down and keep this window, right? I think they think that that's the total insulation. That might be okay for the ceiling, but as far as the walls go, this is not okay. She's got to have an R value in here to heat this shed up above. So I did rough in because she told me she was going to insulate and drywall or insulate, and I don't think she'll want an OSB board. It'll be expensive. But then look at this. They didn't even fire block this out so she could actually have these windows shine through. I don't know what she's going to do, but if you're going to heat it, you're going to have to end up having that framed out too. And then fire blocking. The fire blocking has to be in, but we don't want them to nick our wire. So I don't know if they'll get us on that later. But anyways, here's where I kept everything out in the corner. Grounded it with a UFR. I have a 20 amp GFCI outlet for my power plugs, a 20 amp GFCI outlet right off the panel to do my lighting, because you have to protect your lighting in the ceiling with an outlet. Although, if you do that, you cannot reset a GFI up above. Here is my EV plug. I do 6 gauge for that. And then this is my future heater for the garage. And then over here, I decided to put a heat detector or a smoke CO. You don't have to decode, but I like doing that. And then 4 lights I gave her instead of 2 because of the fact that I felt like she might want to put strip lights later or hang something or put something decorative. This is going to be her clay room workshop. Okay, and then right here I had to have a plug in the outside, so I just decided to put one in. If you're going to do real generic decode, it's very minimal. You can have 1 plug service inside, the 2 for the out, and the garage door, and that's really it. You do have to have a light for the man door. We have a light cut in right there. And then over here, you can see where we trenched that all the way over. Okay, that came up. Had to have our slip conduits. We will not allow customers or contractors or general contractors or landscapers to put our conduit in. It is a real tricky. We use heat boxes, make sure our sweeps are very narrow and slow, but we really have barely any bends here until I got over there. I'll have to show you. It was a little tricky. I should have pulled a fish wire through all the way, just some kind of string. Anyways, we have to have surge protection. I do have a main shutoff breaker. It does have to have a retainer clip. If you do that, EV plug, shed, future 5 kW heater, my power plug, temp power. You have to have temp power for the guys to come back. So this is GFI'd and weatherproofed, and then my power lights. I still have 2 slots left, and these you cannot because that's a main breaker kill. Okay. So that, then daisy chained over to here to put in my Polaris connectors. I'll have to get one more. I was missing one, but it's the neutral. But that's going to go to the kiln. It comes in here. Right here. She's going to put a countertop here. Okay. And then I like to leave my stuff at the job, but hopefully it doesn't get lost. I like this comfort zone heater. My kiln plugs, all my trim parts are ready to go. This stuff was expensive. I needed 5 of these big tubes with a bunch of this foam for us, in order for us to do the concrete. Hopefully I still have some time here, JJ. So walking over here quickly, we trenched across with our Kubota. Trenched across that marked where the sprinklers were hit. The sprinklers were destroyed when they put the shed in, but I marked the 2 spots where we cut through so she can get through later. All of this is tampering very well. All that rain that we had, the most rain we've had in June since 150 years, that was great. It tampered our dirt. Right here, we had to cut the concrete, and it was really tricky to curve it and come back up. Our concrete guy was supposed to do it, but he never did it. I trained the kids how to do it. You can see it's a little oddball, but anyways, we've got the silt that we can fill that in, but that is kind of pricey to buy 5 of those large tubes and do all that foam in there to keep from filling it up. Had a PVC box here, 12 by 12, in order to transition, and then that went out over there to the panel, which you could see on my other video. We piped another 50 foot with EMT and bent it. Okay, all that was done with that heat box, and I used Polaris connectors in there too as well, so that way I don't have any weak link there. But as you can see, all that back there, that's what we ended up wiring. So quite a bit of power go out there, be 80 amps. Thanks guys for joining us. Have a good one.